Hi there, this is Jesus and Tiffany. I realize I'm late. This is 14th of January. And I'm late. I've been having interruptions in life. My fan motor on my house heater went out the other day. Goes out so soon. I've only had this place for 25 years. And but I'm getting a new one. And I had to get new tires, new brakes for my van. And I've been helping at my church where I go. And the other day last week, we were cleaning the church. I'm really cleaning the church. And it was really great to be with everybody there, trying to get our church nice and good looking. Today, I want to talk about looking at those people who do call us part of their family. Especially my church. Because I remember other churches that I've gone to, I couldn't be part of the church. It's like, the Bible talks about the Good Shepherd, how if he misses one of the sheep, he goes looking for that sheep because he cares about that sheep. And when he brings us back, we're part of the fold of sheep. And, this is our home. And you go to some of these other churches, they don't want us there. They don't want us part of the fold. And, but Jesus does. Jesus values each person. He loves each of us. And he goes looking for us. And I got thinking about the people that Jesus hung around with. He hung around with prostitutes. He hung around with what the Pharisees called the wine bibblers. He hung out with tax collectors, which were the big sinners of the time. And he went to find his lost sheep, which some of them were demonic. They were demon-possessed people. But Jesus freed them and welcomed them into his fold to be his sheep. And he wants each one of us to be part of the sheep. As I've been in this life, I've seen that Jesus gives us families. One of the books I read, devotional, is this is really bad when I forget. But it's a devotional put out by a non-binary pastor. And they talk about the Good Shepherd, and they also talk about Jesus making families. He told about Naomi and Ruth, how Ruth was a pagan worshiper who married Ruth's son, and Naomi's son. And Naomi is Jewish. And Naomi had gone to this pagan country to survive a famine. And then she heard that the famine was over in Israel. So she decided to go back to Israel. And her 2 sons died, leaving their wives without anybody to care for them. And Naomi told them, go back to your families, go back to your people. And the one daughter-in-law went back, but Ruth stayed with Naomi. And Naomi told Ruth, go back. He says, no, I'm not going to go back. He says, and she told him this great line that a lot of people know is, your people would be my people. Your God would be my God. Where you lodge, I will lodge. And she would not give up Naomi. So they became family. And you also look at what God did with Jesus. Mary, a young girl, just engaged, hadn't been with a guy. And she gets told, guess what? You get to have a baby. And her fiance finds out, and he realizes he's a nice guy, and he doesn't want to make a public example of her, so he wants to put her, essentially in that time when you're engaged, you're as good as married, and he didn't want to divorce her, and go through that divorce system, and he just wanted to put her away, so it wouldn't bring any embarrassment to her. And God came to him and said, take Mary as your wife. This child is, the Son of God, and you were to name him Jesus. And, Joseph took Jesus as his son and raised him with Mary. And God made family. And God makes families with us. My church is my family. As I worked with them last week, they were my family. Really, they cared about me. They loved me. And I love them. And I am part of that family. And so God makes families. And he wants you to be part of the family too. And that's one thing I want to express about how important the church is. Because that's where you get to be in family. You get to eat together and talk together and do things together. You're not stuck out there alone. If you're going to church and you're alone, that's the wrong church. You need to find a place where you are loved and you are a part of that family. And they care about you. I have a wonderful pastor too. Actually, she is part of the LGBT community. She's I'm sorry, my mind is going crazy today. It's just not working. She's bisexual. I don't know why that was so hard. But, she's married also now. But she's still bisexual. Because she has been in that sort of relationship and considers herself bisexual. But she is a wonderful pastor. And makes me feel part of church. Welcomed me there when I went. And I appreciate it very much. But if you're in a church that will not accept you, that will not love you, and call you part of their family, and treat you like family, find one that does. There's Episcopal churches, there's Methodist churches, I think there's Presbyterian churches. This one pastor who wrote this book that I can't think of the name, he's Congregational church, I believe he goes to. Yeah. They pastor that church. They're the senior pastor. And they talk about how we need to be welcoming to whoever comes in. And he also talks about when somebody says this, how they see themselves. Like when a child or young person comes up and says, I think I'm gay or lesbian or transgender. You don't say, well, that's a phase, or you don't know what you're talking about. No. The pastor says, believe them. As LGBT people, we can change. We can think, oh my, I'm gay because I like guys. But then find out that there are trans women who likes guys. And, which I like too. And, we go through these changes because we're trying to find out who we are. And it's really nice to be able to find that one spot. Like the pastor who wrote the book is non-binary. And they talked about, they didn't have a word at that time to describe who they were. And then when they found that word, non-binary, they shared it with people. And people could see, yes, that's who they are. And so, when somebody comes up, no matter what age they are, don't say, no, you're wrong, or this is a phase. Believe them. I mean, I denied who I was till I was 59. And I was praying, oh God, take these feelings away. Because I wanted to put on women's clothes. I like women's things. In fact, I wish, like when I'd go to potlucks and the guys are sitting around tables talking about guns, cars, hunting, football, whatever. I want to be in the kitchen. I want to be in the kitchen with a woman. But I felt that wasn't my spot. But now I go to the kitchen, and I could be those those women in the kitchen helping out. But God had to tell me, hey, He showed me His way, which was kind of what I needed, was to Him to do it nice and progressive, such as slowly showing me who I am, because He said, when I prayed, take these feelings away. He said, well, will you embrace them, or would you praise me for them? So I said, okay, God, I'll praise you for them. And that went on for 3 weeks. And things were not getting better at all. And it was bugging me, something terrible. And I said, God, it's not going away. It's not getting better. Then He says, well, embrace them. Embrace the feelings and transition. And it took my conservative Christian mind to wrap my head around there, because, okay, what I'm being told in church is that this is sinful. And God, I'm supposed to obey Him. And so I decided I'm going to obey God, because there was one time I didn't obey God, and it turned out really, really terrible. So I obeyed God. And I said, yes, I'll do that. And it was the most awesome thing. But from that point on, I knew I was a transgender woman. Well, no, not quite. Because I thought, well, maybe I'm just a cross-dresser. And I did that for 3 weeks and said, no, I'm not a cross-dresser. I'm a woman. And so, from that point on, it was, I'm going straight ahead. I lost people. I lost my church, my family. Work went good, I guess. Not exactly how I wanted it, but I was the first trans person they ever had, and so it was, trying to figure this thing out. And but I was always knew I was a transgender woman, because God showed me that, and I embraced it. So don't question somebody when they tell you who they are, who they're attracted to, or what their gender is. Don't doubt that. Just talk with them. Maybe ask them, how do you see yourself in this? Like, we had a young gal who was still in school come to our meeting one time. She was autistic, and after the meeting was over and went to the social part, I went over there and talked to her and asked her different questions. How do you see yourself? Do you want long or short hair? Do you like dresses? Those are my kind of questions. And then they also told me about, I asked them, what do you want to do to get out of school? And they want to be a scientist. I wish I could remember what exactly it was, but they had high standards for what they wanted to do. It's like, God gave her a better brain than He gave me. Because I want that kind of person. In fact, I want farm work. You don't make much money in farm work. And I love farm work. Then when I came out, I realized what I really wanted to be was mommy. And mommy wasn't an option for me at that time. Probably still isn't. I'm 68. And so mommy's not going to happen. Not unless I have an act of God and I get pregnant. Somehow. Anyway, believe somebody when they do that. But please support our youth and people who are just coming out. We all don't come out young. Still in kindergarten, they're out. Or in junior high and high school, they come out. There are us who come out in after 50, after 60. But think of how long we held back. And I think God had me where He wanted me, coming out when He wanted me to. But other people, I don't know how they stay hidden like that. Fear, I think, is what the biggest thing we have that keeps us hidden, that keeps us in the closet. It's shame, because I have loved this life a whole lot. I'm thankful that God made me a woman. I am a trans woman, but I am woman. Hear me roar. How's that? Okay. But I hope this helped somebody out there. And I really hope you do find Jesus if you don't know Jesus. Because Jesus has walked with me for many years, like since I was in elementary. And He's cut me out of things that I could have been into. But Jesus never left me. When everybody else was leaving me, Jesus did not. He stayed right here with me and cared about me and helped me. I want that for you. So, go to Jesus. Ask Him into your life. And follow Him. Read the Gospels and see what Jesus is like. Because these people in church and some of the things that Jesus said, they are not imitating them. Especially the one where He says, "A new commandment I give unto you, that ye love others as I love you, that you also love others." Love is a big thing to God. Jesus said, the first commandment was just love God with everything you got. And the next one, that was love your neighbor as yourself, which He raised the bar on and said, you're to love other people like I love you. That other one, sometimes I don't love myself a lot, but Jesus always loves me a whole lot, and that's how He wants me to treat other people. So I'm going to pray now. Holy Father, bid those that will be listening to this video, let them know you. Let them see you active in their lives. Make them hungry and thirsty for you. Help them, if they've lost their families, to find a family, that welcomes them in. Just draw them to you, because having you as my family has brought me peace. In your name, Jesus, I pray. Amen. So, I will see you later. Goodbye. God bless you.